So you don't see XYZ. You don't see Progressive and State Farm and Allstate and Farmers. You don't see them necessarily on your credit report when you look at your inquiries. But yes, they looked at your credit as well. So when they're looking at your home and saying, hey, here's the location that it's in, here's what the crime rate is there, things of that nature, here's what the homes are worth, all of those things they figure into, how much you're going to pay for a premium to have insurance on your home. They're also looking at your credit score as well. So if you did get that home when you had a 620, when you had a 640, and now you're sitting at an 803, you might want to give them a call and say, hey, I need you to reevaluate my insurance policies. Same thing when it comes to your insurance for your vehicle as well. Same thing. They're looking at what your credit score is, and part of the factors that they use to determine what your premium is based on your credit score. So if you barely got your car because your score was so low and you barely were approved, or you got a high interest rate on that vehicle, it's 15%, it's 12%, it's 22%, whatever it is, but now your score has risen to a 720 or a 750 or even an 800, then you definitely need to get a reevaluation on what your premium is. Because the same thing like with the house, they looked at, you got a red car, you got a black car, you got a white car, which cars have the most accidents, what's your have your license ever been suspended? What's your driving record like? All of those things that they look at. How much do you drive? They also look at your credit score. So this is the time, now that you have reached this threshold, this is the time for you to give them a call and tell them, hey, I want you to reevaluate my policies, all right? Maybe it only falls $50. Maybe it falls $50. Maybe you get $500 off for the year for your home or whatever it is. But this is the time for you to go ahead and do that. Now, if you're not loyal to your insurance company or your particular agent, this is also a great time to call somebody else. Call somebody else, check and see what the rates are. Maybe you were paying higher than you should have anyway in the first place, but make sure that the coverages are also the same, okay? Make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck when it comes down to this. So this is a great time. And then one of the easiest calls to make is to your insurance company to make sure that you're getting the best value when it comes to your credit score being elevated at this point. So that's another way for you to leverage your credit. So before we jump into the other ones that I have for you, we're going to do the question of the day. And let me throw out a couple more shout outs as well. So Katisha Trigg celebrates a birthday, so I want to say happy birthday to you, Katisha. I believe Katisha's birthday is actually today. So she's of TV fame as well. So like Lauren Mack, Katisha is of TV fame as well. So she's been an anchor on TV. And so happy birthday to you, Katisha. I'm sure you're getting a million happy birthday shout outs because you're such a great person. So happy birthday to you, Katisha. Chrisanna Simpson, she is one of the most loyal listeners to the show, one of the people that follow me on all the platforms, go back and forth all the time about what's going on in the credit world and what's going on personally. She's a dog lover. So Chrisanna, she celebrates her birthday. Happy birthday to you, Chrisanna. Thank you so much for all of your support. I truly appreciate it. I see them all and we go back and forth, and I appreciate the interaction. So thank you so very much, Chrisanna. Happy birthday to you. Terry Hudson, this is like my nephew. Terry Hudson, one of my best friends' nephew. And so happy birthday to you, Terry. His birthday's coming up this week, so happy birthday to you. And Tony Patton, I used to call him Breeze back in the day. Tony Patton celebrates his birthday, one of the brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi from the Alpha chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. Tony Patton, happy birthday to you, my brother. All right, so let's get into the question of the day. So the question of the day came from Diana. Now, I didn't ask Diana where she was from because I actually hadn't planned on putting this in the show necessarily, but everything kind of came together when it comes to this show. Like I said, I got people, sending me the success stories that they're having this particular week, and I wouldn't have had those 2 weeks ago. So, when I had planned to do the show initially. So that's a good thing. And then this question came along and bumped the question that I had. So I didn't ask Diana where she's from. So, when that happens, I like just pick a place. I like to pick a place. So I'm going to say Diana's from Florida. So Diana from Florida, she sent in her question. She emailed me. You can do the same. 800@creditscoreman.com. That's 800@creditscoreman.com. You can email me there as well. Ask your questions. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook, 800 Credit Score Man at both of those locations. On Twitter, at credit score underscore man. And I just signed up with TikTok. If you don't know what TikTok is, get the app. I think it's TIK. I don't know what it is. TIKTOK. TikTok. So I just signed up for TikTok. I haven't posted any videos as of yet, but 800 Credit Score Man on TikTok as well. All right. So Diana said, how will it affect my score if I remove myself from being an authorized user on 3 cards the person has been neglecting to pay and my score is starting to go down? If I remove myself, will my score go up? So you're talking about a good question. You're talking about a good question. I just told you guys, authorized users is one of my favorite things to do when it comes to helping somebody build your credit. Authorized users, when you piggyback on somebody else's credit card. You're related to somebody, it's your boyfriend, it's your boo, it's your coworker, whoever it is, and then they have a credit card that has a long history and a very good payment history. I'm talking perfect. Not 99% paid on time, not 98% paid on time, 100% paid on time. You want to be able to jump on that particular card, especially if you have a low credit score or a very thin credit file. You get on that card. You have no financial obligation to pay the card, but you have access to it. So if you wanted to actually use it, because you get your own card with your name on it and all that stuff, if you wanted to use it, you could if you had that card. But if you're doing it for the purpose of helping building credit, authorized user helps you a lot. It helps you with that length of history, which is 15% of your credit score. That payment history is supposed to be 100, right? So that's 35% of your credit score. If it has a great utilization, meaning let's say it has $1,000 limit, but there's only a $200 balance typically, that's a 20% credit utilization. That's very good for you. That's another 30% of your credit score. Let's say you didn't have any credit cards prior to this at all. So now all you had was a car loan. So you only had one type of credit. Now you have 2 types of credit. That's the mix. There's another 10% of your credit. So it has all of these positives for you when it comes to authorized users. So, but what happens when it goes south? What happens when it goes bad? So that's what's happening with Diana. She's got a card, 3 cards, and this person is not paying on time and her score is starting to go down. So my advice to her was not removing yourself, because she asked if she removed herself, her score is going down. If she removed herself, would her credit score go up? So my answer back to Diana was not removing yourself. If they're missing payments, it's going to hurt you more. It's going to hurt you more than if you were to remove yourself. We talked plenty about not closing credit cards and things of that nature, but a missed payment on a credit card can hurt your credit score 30, 40, 50, 60 points. Every time, every month, you can get dinged those kinds of points if you're missing payments on a credit card, right? So you're going to take the hit more if you stay on the card, and there's 3 of them. You're going to take the hit more if you stay on that card. So my advice to Diana was to get off of that card. Forget about the fact that, now your length of history is going to be much shorter. If you don't have other credit cards at this point, then you're not going to have that great mix or whatnot. So you're going to take that hit. You definitely are. But at this point, you need to make the best of a bad situation. And a bad situation is that it's hitting your credit, that you are missing payments. So it's not giving you the help that you were getting before. Not even close is it giving you the help. It's really, really hurting you. So I advise get off the card, get off all 3 cards, and get off of them ASAP, because your score is going to continue to go down. Now, will your score go up? Was one of her questions. Will your score go up as a result of getting off of the cards? Most likely not. I can't really say for sure, because basically at this point there's only been negative. There's only been negative happening. So what was the positive that would make your credit score go up? There was nothing positive, only negative. You've been missing payments, or the person has been missing payments, so that's negative. Then if you remove yourself from the card, you're going to hurt some of those other pillars that help you with your credit score. So there hasn't been anything positive. So it probably won't go up, but what you'll be doing is stopping the bleeding. You'll be stopping the bleeding, because at this point, with those missed payments, it's bleeding. All right. So Get off those cards, Diana, and then check back in with me. Let me know what happens with your score. Talk to me, and maybe I'll give you some positive things that you can do to help increase your credit score or to recover from what was going on. All right. So, Diana, thank you so very much. Like I said, she emailed me. Diana, you are officially a part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family. So she emailed me 800 at creditscoreman.com, but you can inbox me, you can DM me. Instagram, I've got a lot of inboxes going on from Instagram the last few days about credit and what's happening. So get on Instagram, 800 Credit Score Man on Instagram, and let's do that. All right. Okay, so let's jump back into the show before we had to get out of here. All right, so there's a couple more things I got to tell you about leveraging your credit. Before I do that, let me finish these shout outs that I have. Risha Nunnally, he is celebrating his birthday coming up this week. Happy birthday to Risha. I just saw you in the barbershop yesterday. Happy birthday to you, man. Rhonda Chisholm, she is celebrating a birthday. Workout Fiend. Rhonda gets her workout on. Rhonda Chisholm is celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to you. And to Keisha Farmer, another avid listener, somebody that supports me all the time. She's celebrating a birthday as well. So happy birthday to you, to Keisha Farmer. Let me tell you guys, I'm going to be at I Am Light Plugged into Purpose Empowerment Conference on August 31st. That's in Chicago, Illinois. It's going to be at Little Black Pearl in Chicago, Illinois. You guys register for that. Register this weekend. When you get off, or finish listening to the show, go ahead and register. Go to Inspire Me Coach V. Inspire Me Coach V. V is V as in Victor, EE. Inspire Me Coach V. Eventbrite.com. Register this weekend. Register today to come to that conference right in Chicago at Little Black Pearl. And if you're from Chicago, you should know it's in Hyde Park area. I think address is 1060 East 47th, and it'll be August the 31st. A bunch of very, very good speakers. You're talking about being plugged into purpose and empowerment, being inspired. When you leave this conference, you're going to be totally inspired to change some things in your life that you want to change. So you guys come check me out at that on August the 31st. All right. So let's get into what else can you do with your credit now. So now that you've got this good credit, increase limits on your credit cards. If you've gained a great score, you already know that you're not trying to use it. You're not trying to necessarily use it. You're not increasing it so you can go buy more stuff. You've got discipline now, so you are watching that credit score. So increase the limits on your credit cards. If you've gained a great score, most likely your credit card companies have already been increasing your limits from time to time along the way anyway. So the increased limits, they lower your utilization rate. So I've had a person call me and contact me and say, hey, my credit card company has been offering me increased limits and I've been turning them down. And so I said to her, don't do that. Take those increased limits as long as it doesn't, quote unquote, cost you anything. Because if they asking permission, they might be pulling a credit report on you, which is another inquiry and things of that nature. So that might not be the best. But if they're asking and it's not going to be a hard inquiry for you, then go ahead and take those increases in your credit limits, because it's going to lower your utilization rate, which is 30% of your credit score, and that's a good thing for you. So now listen, if you're requesting, and people that have, reached this 820, 830 or whatever, and you want to request the increase, then that's perfectly fine. Of course, yes, your score is going to go down a little bit because you have an inquiry or whatnot. However, it may be better for you to do it anyway. So if you're requesting an increase at any time, good credit, bad credit, indifferent, whatever it is, and they pull a credit report, which most likely they will if you're making the request, then yes, it's an inquiry. You're going to get a lower score, 2 to 10 points. I've never had anybody tell me, I've had one person ever tell me that they applied for credit and they got dinged 10 points for applying for credit for a credit card. Typically, it's 2 points. So, but the upside of this is that your utilization is 30% of your score, and that inquiry is only 10% of your score. So if you get the increase and your utilization falls, that's much better for you, and it's going to counteract and be better than the lousy 2 3, 4 points that you get deemed for the inquiry. So you can ask for an increase. That's another thing you can do. Another way for you to leverage it, now that you've got a great score,